Thank you for listening today on Revealing Wholeness, sponsored by Infinity Whole Health. Check out our website at infinityWholeHealth.com, where we are revealing the eternal in each individual, the infinite in the individual. The creativity is made manifest. Limitation is let go. Now, here's your host, Dr. Troy Munson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness. And there is so much news right now about fiber, and women should take it for everything. Want to get pregnant? Take fiber. I don't know. It's crazy. It's everywhere. And so let's talk about fiber and some things that are probably going on in your body if you have been thinking about fiber because you've been reading about the things that it might help with. So let's just cut to the chase. If you've got constipation and slow bowels and they're saying fiber, if you're trying to lose weight and you can't do it, fiber. They're just picking at everything, but I want you to understand why. Because when you start understanding why, you'll start making different choices and starting to help why the fiber is there in the first place. Now, if you've listened to any of my podcasts, you've heard me likely say something like, estrogen thickens bile. So I'm just going to pause there. Estrogen thickens bile. What does that even mean? Well, let's talk about it. Your gallbladder holds bile. And so bile is there to lubricate the gut so you can go to the bathroom. Men and women both, not just women. This is men too. And it cleans the gut wall. It's very important. And so that bile goes down into the large intestine and starts getting reabsorbed in the large intestine as it's moving poop along. And it gets reabsorbed in the bloodstream, goes back to the liver, and goes back to the gallbladder until the next time you eat. And then the gallbladder squeezes bile into the gut, emulsifies fats, breaks it up, lubricates, cleans the gut wall, and you stay nice and healthy like you're supposed to. Now, if we start eating a lot of garbage foods, a lot of our foods have a lot of chemicals, a lot of xenohormones, a lot of all kinds of crazy crap in it. And we're constantly getting too much estrogen, both men and women. And so estrogen starts to thicken bile. As bile thickens, it doesn't go through the liver very well. So the blood is more dirty because it can't be cleaned by the liver. And when it gets to the gallbladder, it's thick and sludgy because it's being thickened by estrogen. So now the bile is just sitting there starting to form stones in the gallbladder. And that's how gallbladder attacks and gallbladders get surgically removed. So we prefer that you keep your gallbladder because it's incredibly important that you do so. But we want you to understand that if you can't get the bile thin, then you aren't going to move your bowels. Now you can use a lot of fiber, which will inevitably help. You could eat a lot of carbohydrates, which will make us fatter, which will make us unhappy, which will destabilize blood sugar, but it will also irritate the gut lining and keep water in the gut and help lubricate to help you move and go to the bathroom. But it's definitely not the way you want to go about it. So it's not that I'm against fiber by any stretch of the imagination. I am, but I want to be working upstream too. I want to be working on your liver and gallbladder. I want to be thinning bile channels. I want to help the liver do its job, which is take fat off your body and start burning it so that you don't stick so much fat into your bowels that it's irritating. And the fiber is there to try to help hold on to fat, but also to help hold on to the debris coming out of your fat cells. Out of our fat cells is some estrogen too. I'll talk to clients, and I've said this before, that was there a time when you were gaining weight or that your weight was increasing, and then all of a sudden it didn't matter what you did, your weight just came on explosively? And most of the time I say, yes. I say, well, fat cells produce estrogen on their own. And so if you're holding extra weight, you're producing extra estrogen. Estrogen is not okay for anybody's body. It is necessary, but in very, very tiny amounts. And the liver's job is to get rid of it because it's seen as a toxic substance to the body because it's a growth hormone. We don't want it in there, and it tells everything to grow. That's why hormone replacement therapy a while back, when they did it with every woman, developed a lot of breast cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, because it just told all the cells to grow. And it didn't care if it was a cancer cell or a regular cell. It said, hey, everybody grow, this is great. And so we wondered why cancers went through the roof. And so they stopped doing so much of that, which is great. But now as we begin to try to watch our environment to pull more chemicals out and eat cleaner diets, now can we help de-estrogen your body? Now, the other way that we can help is by thinning bile channels in the liver even more. And if you've been around a while listening to my podcasts, you'd be like, he's going to say beets and beet greens. Yes, you're right, I am. And so we would do things like that to try and help get betaine, which is a B vitamin, in beets and beet greens that helps thin bile channels so that you can flow bile through the liver, clean your blood, get less migraine headaches, less headaches in general, less achiness, but also begin to help the liver heal, which then will help pull more fat off your body and burn it, which is what we want. We want weight loss. And so now we have a body working much, much better. And the fiber is a big portion, but we got to do other things instead of just thinking fiber is going to be this great end-all be-all thing. Yes, you should do it. And yes, it's good to have soluble and insoluble fiber both. We'll talk about those things in the future, but right now, just for the sake of argument, fiber's good. I prefer that you would get it in vegetables, but do what you must for now. But begin to help yourself a little bit more by saying, hey, I think I'm going to support my liver function here a little bit more. I think I'm going to try to help my bowels move a little bit more. If you're doing things and you don't find any of that helping, then you need to absolutely give me a call, because we need to do some things that are going to help your liver perform a little bit better and get movement a little bit faster so that you can detoxify easier and start this process of healing. And so from the inside out, I was just telling a client today, I said, they're like, it all seems to begin with the liver. I said, well, almost. It's pretty much digestion, but liver is a close second. And I told them, I said, if you're not the liver, you're the dyer. I love how the liver's named. We just think, oh, it's a liver. Well, you're the one that has to live. And the liver is the one that helps you live really well. And if it isn't functioning well, you are dying. So it's either a liver or a dyer. Don't let your liver become a dyer in all shapes and forms of the word. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit of understanding into fiber and what it's doing, creating bulk in the bowels, but really it's the liver's job to move the bowel. And yes, fiber is helpful, and we want it in there, but the liver performs a huge service there, and it's very important to keep our bowels nice and clean, and that's its big job. Now again, eating good foods and fiber is also helpful, but let's make sure we're including all the components there as we're embarking upon this, because they'll produce a $1 billion industry on fiber alone, and they're leaving out big, huge things that I think are important. So until next time, hope that's helpful. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness.
The information on Dr. Troy Munson's podcast is meant to educate the listener and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease.